Happy Easter, everyone. Easter. We have just been through Holy Week, which started on Palm Sunday when Jesus rode in on a very young donkey into the city of Jerusalem, where they hailed him their king for a time. And then we come to Maundy, Thursday, a little later in the week, where Jesus sat down with his 12 disciples for the very last time in body and shared the Holy Supper and treated them as friends and gave them a new commandment, a new mandate, which was to love one another as he has loved us. And then on Good Friday, we come to the journey where the Lord is crucified because they didn't understand who he was. And then we come to Easter morning, where even though people didn't expect this at all, he rose from his dead body and he is with us forever in his loving spirit. And when Easter comes, after a whole week of this long journey with Jesus, Easter comes and we get a sense every year, even though we celebrate Easter every year, we get this feeling inside of new life. We get this feeling like life is so precious, isn't it? I think we were saying that in our prayers, kids, weren't we, earlier? How grateful, I think Liz said, just grateful for her life. So inside this golden egg are examples of new life that God gives us. So I would like to open this golden egg and ask that people pick one and read it. Oh, can I get it open? Yeah. Yay! Oh my gosh. Okay, that half is empty. But this half has all these wonderful reminders of how God gives us new life. Who would like to pick one and read it? Come on.
Watch the camera.
And then if you could stand right next to me and read it so that the people in the camera who are watching.
When someone who feels lost finds their way home.
That's new life. Thank you.
The moment you know God is real.
Did you hear that? The moment you know God is real.
You want to help you read that one? Yeah.
Every moment is new. Thank you. You want to keep it?
When a star in the sky is born.
Ooh.
Every human dies is a new beginning. Every human's death is a new beginning.
You said that one again.
Anyone else? Peanut gallery?
Moments of inspiration.
Moments of inspiration. How about anybody back here, grown-ups? Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You can? Babies. How about over on this side? Jesus' resurrection. Whoa, that's a big one. Anybody back here? We've got one left. No, that's okay. Anyone? Anyone? Fred, my trusty reader?
When a caterpillar turns into a butterfly.
Oh. Thank you so much. So can you think of anything else that would be new? Yes,
The flowers every year
the flowers. Beautiful.
and birds.
Birds. Well, I've got this beautiful golden egg, and now it's empty.
We need to fill it with yolk.
We need to fill it with yolk. That's a good thought. Well, I am wondering, what, in the Easter story, what else was empty? Very good. Anything else?
People's hearts.
Oh, wow, there's a deep answer. Who's that woman? And my mother. And also in that internal spirit, also their hopes were empty, weren't they? Can you imagine walking and living with Jesus all that time, and then he's killed? Can you imagine things did not go the way that they were expected to go, so their hopes were empty. Now I'm going to ask you an easier question. In your life, in life in general, what things are empty? Your bank account? Oh, that's funny, your bank account. Well, my shoes are empty now because there's no feet in them. My shoes are empty. Sometimes when I don't have ideas, my head's empty. Sometimes when a sea creature leaves its shell,
The shell is empty.
the shell is empty. What happens to the egg when the baby chick is hatched?
The egg is
The
empty.
egg is empty.
Like the egg in your hand.
What happens when all the clouds and the rain go away? Is the sky empty?
No. This is the sun. And the sun can't go away.
Right. The
Unless it goes
sun.
supernova.
You're so right. The sun can't go away.
But then you guys
Is a black hole empty? I
yeah.
think it is. That's what we know, but we're not sure.
Yeah, we're not sure.
I mean, there could be a worm in there.
No, it's still
I guess I better fill up my shoes. I guess I better fill up my shoes so they're not empty anymore.
Good idea.
How about a nest when the babies fly away?
No, the nest isn't empty because of the eggshells.
Ooh, good one. Okay, how about a nest when the babies fly away and the eggshells fall out?
Then it's empty.
All right.
How about when the kids all move out?
Now that was going to be my last example. Thank you. You're so with me. So what happens? What do you call it when all the children leave home?
Peaceful.
Has anybody been through that yet? Yeah. Karen.
We'll
Train for it someday.
Still like 9 years.
So how does all of this empty make you feel?
Kind of lonely.
Yeah. Anything else?
Kind of
What did-
lonely.
What?
I say kind of lonely.
Yeah.
Until they come back.
Kind of lonely. Right.
But then they just come back with their kids.
Yeah.
Come visit you.
They'll visit and holiday time and maybe for Sunday brunch. Did you hear Bella?
No.
Sometimes happy. For example, when there is no clouds in the sky, it does kind of, even though the sky isn't empty, there's the sun. But sometimes empty is good. What about those little crabs that move into an empty shell and make it their little house? Have you seen those?
Fill it up again.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So the empty shell was a good thing.
It makes
Now.
a new home for another animal.
Yeah. And what about fiber? Does anybody need fiber?
Dietary or?
Dietary. Wheat husks, Corn husks are empty of the wheat and the corn, but we can use them for something good. What about, and I don't know if you've ever known this feeling lately, but what about you have an empty hour? Right, Nancy. What about you have time and you don't have anything to do? Is that a good thing? Sometimes. Doesn't that sound good right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because right now we're talking about it.
What's that?
Because right now we're talking, so you can just talk.
Right. You're very smart. Because sometimes when we have a little empty time, God can give us something we look for a lot. And we call it peace, silence. And there's actually a time when we're not doing anything and we're listening and we're very quiet, where we can actually feel His presence. So what does Jesus do to help His followers and His disciples realize that even though the tomb was empty, like this big old beautiful egg, even though the tomb was empty, what does He do to try to show the people who loved Him and followed Him that He was still alive?
Amen.
He returned in His spiritual body, and He showed them the place in His hands where the nails went and the place in the side where the spear went. But He also, face to face, He talked to them. He was with them. And they understood that this was something very different. It's so important to understand that He is doing that right now. He didn't just do it back then. He's
does
coming.
it every day.
Every day. In the beautiful things that happen, you ever walk in the woods or by the lakeside and you feel something very special, something sweet? Or you listen to beautiful music and you just feel so inspired? What kind of music do you like?
Classical.
Classical.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Charlie.
Charlie's. Extravaganza this November. And moments where you're reading God's holy word, which is like a mirror to you of yourself and God. When you're reading His word, He comes. When you're praying and listening and telling God who you are and what you need and where you're going and what your fears are and what your joys are. And moments of inspiration. Lately, I've just had this feeling like a tidal wave is hitting me. And I get very overwhelmed in a good way. Like God is coming to me, and I feel very quiet. I feel like I can't talk because it's so strong and so lovely. Moments of inspiration. And being together. We feel God together. And this is how He comes to us. So the blessings of Easter come, they come to you every day. And remember that the workings of God and of life, they remind us again and again of the most important lesson of Easter. That life just never ends. And right when we think that things are going to stop and we're going to be sad and overwhelmed and we can't do it anymore, keep a heart open, because that's when He shows Himself. Life never ends. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Easter. So what do I do with this egg?
Write new ideas.
Fill it with yolks.
Fill it up.
Write new ideas.
Happy Easter out there.